What's going on, everybody? Thank you guys for checking out this video. I posted in the team page yesterday about new questions for new videos, and today, I guess just my own ignorance, I wasn't aware that most people did not know how to properly warm up or how to properly go through the acclimation sets in order to get to their actual working weight. So today what I'm going to talk about is pretty much just how we can go through a lower body warm-up, and then how we're going to go through our acclimation sets in order to get to the actual working weight that we have to use for that particular day. Alright guys, so what I'm going to do next here is pretty much just muscle activation exercises to activate the muscles that I'm going to be using in this lift, the deadlift, okay? So we're going to start off here. On this one, I just use a kettlebell, and all I'm trying to do is activate my hamstrings and my glutes, really focusing on squeezing my hamstrings and my glutes on every repetition. Okay, on this next one, I'm going to focus on isolating my quadriceps. Okay, and the next exercise, because we engage a lot of lat as well on the conventional deadlift, what I'm going to do is try to activate my lats.
Ready.
Alright guys, now that we got the blood pumping, we can put the bar on the floor and get started. Oh yeah, also another tip, if you guys out there, you have tight calves, okay, if you just naturally have tight calves, tight ankles, I would really make sure that before you squat, before you deadlift, you make sure to stretch your calves. I noticed that a limiting factor in depth with a lot of people who squat is that their calves are so tight. Don't know if you can see my heel, but the calves are so tight when they get to the bottom of that squat, the heel comes off the floor. So just grab onto something and stretch out both of your calves so that your calves are nice and loose, so that you can maintain the heel position on both of those lifts. As you know, both of those lifts we should be driving through the heel with the exercise. Alright guys, the bar is on the floor. Now typically I always start off with the bar, okay? It does not matter how much you can squat, how much you can deadlift. I usually always start out with the bar, alright? Alright guys, so what I'm going to do here, we're going to go 0.25 times what my estimated max is, which right now is probably about like 450. So 112 roughly. So we're going to start out here with 135 pounds. Now when you're doing these lifts, guys, everything should be like as if you were going to max out, okay? Everything, your form should be the same with the bar as it is with your max, alright? Alright, moving up. 0.60 times max. 273. Let's get it. Alright, moving up. 0.70 times max. Keep in mind, we're already up to 70% of my max. So today is my heavy day, so I'm going to be working up to about 75. It's about 75, 77% of my max. So today I'm working with 370 pounds, which is more than I've picked up in a super long time, so I'm really excited about that. Alright guys, so for my heavy day, I'm only working up to about 70% of my max. After that, then we're going to the actual working weight itself. So today, we're going to be moving up from 315 up to 370 because that's what I'm working with. And then we'll perform all of our working sets there. At this point in time, you should feel pretty warmed up. I mean, you should be sweating. Heart should be pounding. You can tell it's a little difficult for me to talk. But everything should be warm. Everything should feel good. Once you hit that point, then you can go into your big lift. Now, it's important to note that after you're done with your big lift or your compound movement and you go into your other kind of accessory or bodybuilding isolation style of exercises, I would still recommend you doing a couple warm-up sets just to get used to just to acclimate yourself to the weight that you're supposed to be using. So if I was doing lat pull downs and say my working weight was like 120 pounds, I would start off with like 50 to 60, and then I'd go like 75, 80, and then I'd probably just jump into my working weight, okay? I hope that helps as well. Let's get started. Game time! Another thing too, guys, is that when you're doing these heavy compound exercises, and let's say it's a heavy day, okay, you're using like sub-maximal loads, you're really pushing yourself, take as much time in between your sets as you need to. I think rushing into it can only lead to problems, okay? So you see here, like, this is my working weight, and I'm taking 2, 3, 4 minutes, 5 minutes in between each set, just so I can make sure that I am fully recovered from the previous set, okay, so that my performance can be duplicated for every set I do, okay? Don't rush, gather yourself, and come back to it. When you're ready to come back to it, be ready. Alright guys, make your last set your best set.
My dog and cat, they're like my kids.
I hope that this helps shed a little light on some of the warm-up techniques that I utilize. Now keep in mind that this is not limiting you to anything. You can feel free to use other things. The slingshot, Mark Bell's slingshot right here. This can be a very good tool to utilize for hip activation. So doing like the monster steps, wearing that forwards and backwards, side to side, that can be a very good tool. Utilizing things like bands, like what I have here, for stretching, that can be great too. However, I typically like to use the bands for after the workout. So that's what I'm going to do now, is after typically I'm done with a heavy weightlifting session, I like to spend a little bit of time and just stretch out the muscles that I worked, okay? So obviously today was a pulling day, so I'm going to spend a little bit of time stretching out my hamstrings, my glutes, my calves, spinal erectors, and lastly, my lats, all right? So that's what I'm going to go through now. I'll just show you guys a few of the stretches I do. And typically, when I'm going through these stretches, I like to hold each one for about 20 to 30 seconds. Being that I played football for so long, stretching was something that helped me immensely in my athletic performance. As for those of you who understand speed, there's only two ways to get faster. It's either lengthening your stride or moving your feet faster. There's only two ways to do it. So lengthening my stride was something that I could certainly control, and keeping your body flexible when you're doing all these power lifts and stuff, I think is important just for overall health in general. I mean, I see a lot of guys who are really big muscle-bound guys, and they just can't move very well. I mean, if you tell them to bend down and touch their toes, it's like Mission Impossible. And I don't want to be like that. I prefer to be more athletic. Just because of my previous experiences with being an athlete. So I definitely recommend stretching the muscles that you utilized. Again, just hold each stretch for maybe 20-30 seconds. Like this, if I was struggling to even touch my toes, chances are everything would be tight, and I think I would be at more of a risk of injury if everything was that tight. Alright guys, I just want to say thank you all very much for checking out this video. I hope that it helped somebody. If it did, please feel free to leave a comment below, like the video, share it with your friends, whatever you want to do. Have a great day. This is William Grazione with metabolicevolution.com, online coaching consulting. Have a great day. Bye-bye.